nutrition bulletin board out there. How many have seen it? How many have taken some stuff home, maybe? One of the handouts? That's okay, it's good to know. So what I want you guys to do, I want to tell you a little bit about me and what I'm doing here and what I want to talk to you about and get your input on. What I want you guys to do is start paying attention a little bit to that board. And there's a thing that says comments or questions. If you ever have any questions, since I'm not here every day, you can put any nutrition questions you might have in the board, in the boxes, and only I will look at those, okay? And if you ever want to email me, you can. But my job is to help you guys eat for performance. Eat optimally to perform optimally. I'm sure that many of you want to be elite in your sport, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so nutrition isn't the only thing by any means that's going to get you there. You've got your training, you've got your mindset, you've got all these pieces, like I call them, cogs in a machine. And nutrition is one of them, and that's where my specialty is. And I also was an elite athlete myself. I was in the Olympics in 1992 for swimming, and I won a gold, a silver, and a bronze medal. And I was also a world record holder a couple times. So I know, and guess what? I was 15 when I did all that. So I was around your age, a little bit older than you guys, when I got really, really focused, let's say, on my sport and into doing what it would take to be elite. So over the years, I've come to be really passionate about nutrition. And the reason I got real passionate is kind of a cruddy reason. I got really sick after the Olympics. And I was sick for a really long time until I figured out I had some food allergies and some other stuff going on that food really helped me with. So that's why I'm really passionate about food. And I even call myself a food detective, because I help people find the things that they're eating that might be creating problems for them, like eczema or asthma or acne, things like that, and I can help people with those things through food. And another part of my business is working with elite athletes. Like, did you guys watch the Olympics and did you see Dana Vollmer swim? She just had a baby. She's like mama on a mission. That's what she calls herself. So I worked with her. I know Michael Phelps really well. I used to take him to practice when I was a kid, or when he was a kid and I could drive and he couldn't get. And I swam with his sisters. So I just tell you guys all that because I want you to know where I'm coming from and that I relate to what you're doing in your sport, and I'm passionate about helping you reach your goals, whatever they may be. And I'm sure that throughout this group of 40 or so of you, everyone has different goals, and I want to be a resource for you, okay? I want to just be here so that if you have any questions about food, that I can be your go-to food detective. So I've created a manual or a guide, and it's going to be, this is what we're going to call the first installment. See how they're kind of, just take a stack and pass it on. You're going to get a folder. You guys are going to look at these right now and then hand them back in to me at the end of the night. So just kind of, it's just for you guys to look at. The folders didn't come in yet. Once they get in, we'll have them all nicely, neatly in their folders. And we're going to add to this nutrition manual so that it can continue to grow and your knowledge base on nutrition continues to grow. Okay? So I have a question. How many of you, be honest, how many of you wake up in the morning and eat breakfast? Oh, that's so great. Good job. Okay, now next question. How many of you wake up and eat a Pop-Tart for breakfast?
Sometimes.
Sometimes? Or a Nutri-Grain bar? Something like that, you know? Okay, so sometimes that eating something's better than nothing. If you can start your day off with a bigger breakfast, you're really going to get your energy kick-started. So imagine that you had a fire, like your energy is like a fire, your energy in your body, and you always want it to be big, right? When you're sitting in front of a fire, you don't want this little wimpy fire, do you? No, that's not going to give you very much heat. So this is the same with your energy. You want it to be big. You want your energy to be on fire, so to speak, so that you can play your best on the court, right? Okay, so Okay, so let's look at the, okay, I'll wait. Let's look at the first page. Let's just, yeah, thank you. So let's look at the first page. So I think it's really important that we start with philosophy. So I want you guys to, I want us all to get on the same page with what we're thinking about food. Does everyone have it? It's the back of the front. So just do that. Do you have it? Okay, everyone who has it, raise your hand. If you have it up and ready? Okay, good. Okay, so let's go over it. Who wants to read the first one? Yes.
Okay.
Okay, loud and clear.
Is eating clean food, that is, eating the majority of your food from natural sources like meat, fish, poultry, grains, fruit, vegetables, nuts, and seeds.
Awesome. Anyone have any questions on that one? Does anyone know what poultry is?
No.
Okay, it's chicken or turkey. So it's like birds. Chicken and turkey, yeah. Did you have turkey? Okay. Okay, who wants to read the second one? Yes. Okay. Shh.
We believe that clean food fuels the body for optimal success, reduces injury potential, and boosts recovery time while laying a foundation of wellness for life.
Yes. So this might not be something that you guys associate with food, but sometimes you can be eating foods that actually can make you get injured easier. And the reason why is because some of those foods promote something called inflammation in the body. And if you're all inflamed inside, it's easier for you to have injuries and for certain areas to get weaker than others. Does that make sense? So we're going to really look at your food as something more than just like, oh, the stuff I eat every day, but like something that can really impact your performance. Okay? Any questions on that one? Okay, who wants to read the next one? Yes.
We believe in connecting what we eat with how we feel. When we feel our best, we perform our best.
Awesome. So, how many of you in here have ever had a migraine headache? Ooh, seriously? Almost everybody?
That's crazy they have.
Isn't that crazy? You guys are so nice. Okay, so listen up. I'm going to give you this is like key information here. So a migraine is like, you know when you have it, it's a really, really, really bad headache. It's the kind of headache that like the lights hurt to be in, loud sounds hurt. It's really strong headache. Well, how many of you think that you're going to play your best volleyball with migraine headache? It's kind of tough, isn't it? It's hard to play with a regular headache, much less a migraine. So that's why we're talking here about connecting what we eat with how we feel. There are certain foods that can actually predispose you to migraine headaches. Isn't that crazy? I'll give you a great story. So, how many of you like football? Oh, great. Okay, so my husband works for the Denver Broncos. He is their head strength and conditioning coach. So his job is to get them, well, you guys have a strength and conditioning coach. So his job is to get them strong and powerful. And we worked for the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is just another NFL team. And when we worked for them, I was the nutritionist for the team. And we had a player that came to us who had gotten migraine headaches since he was a teenager, maybe even younger, maybe closer to your age. And he actually told me that when he would get hit, he was a defensive lineman, so he was always like tackling people and having fierce interactions. And he told me that when he got hit, it actually made his head feel better. That's how bad his head hurt for so long. So long story short, they tried all kinds of medicine for it. Nothing helped. He kept having these migraine headaches. He even would be taken out of games sometimes because he got so foggy and lightheaded from it. I helped him. This is going to sound crazy, but he took out a product called MSG. It stands for monosodium glutamate, and it's a flavor enhancer that they put in food sometimes, and it's a nasty chemical. And that was giving him migraine headaches. And within a month, he was migraine-free for the first time in his life since he was like 13 years old. And he was 23 when we worked together. So can you imagine how much that impacted his gameplay? That he actually didn't have to deal with those headaches now? Much less the time that it took out of his training. So it's little things like that that we can look at and help you really feel your best. That's what I mean by feel your best, perform your best. Okay, next.
Okay. We believe that investing in our, wait, is that the right one?
Yes.
Okay. We believe that investing in our bodies pays big dividends on our work.
Yeah, so the time that you put into this kind of stuff, learning some new stuff about nutrition and preparing foods, thinking ahead about some of your foods, that will really pay off out there, I promise you. Okay, who's next? Let's do the next one. Yeah, in the blue.
We believe in looking at all avenues to better ourselves that will improve our performance.
Awesome. Okay, next one.
We believe that food is power.
Yes, I love that. Food is power. When you learn about something new like this, it's going to give you power. It's going to give you a competitive edge to other teams that aren't really attacking this type of thing. Okay, nutrition goals. Okay. I'm going to just read over these real quick so we can make sure we got these. Okay, number 1, increase energy and focus. So, do you guys feel like, I'm sure you feel in the court, you really got to be able to focus for those bursts and periods of time, and then say you're in a tournament all weekend and you've got several games. You've got to be able to maintain focus over time, yes? You agree? Okay, great. So this is the type of thing we're going to start to work on through food, is that you can actually help your brain focus better with certain foods. Body composition. So this one, I want to explain distinctly so that you guys understand what I'm saying here. So what we eat directly impacts body composition. So body composition just means your fat to muscle ratio in your body. So like kind of, they do this thing called a pitch test. We're not doing any of that. We're not weighing you. That's all silly. It's nonsense. But what I do want, for right now it is, okay? What I want for you guys, though, is to understand that your body composition directly impacts your strength and power, as well as sustainability in sport, endurance and performance. And what I want for every single one of you here is to just feel great with the individual body that you're in relationship to your performance goals. So if you tell me that you want to be a Division I scholarship athlete player, that might be a goal that some of you may have. There is going to be certain factors that are important to understand about body composition when you get to that. Does this make sense to you guys? Okay, so you understand that I'm saying what I want is for everyone to feel great in their bodies they're in. That's the whole goal. And be moving forward towards their goals. So number 3, create a foundation of health and well-being. We talked about all that in our last part. I just want to say this. Who wants to read the quote there at the bottom of Hippocrates? Who wants to read that one? This is my favorite. You're awesome. Okay, right here. Here we go.
Let food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be food.
Yes, I love that. So it's just the idea that what we eat impacts how we feel. I think you guys probably get the picture of what I'm drilling home about that. Yeah? Okay. Let's flip her over there. So, does anyone have any questions so far? Okay, who can name for me 3 different forms of a protein?
Chicken, steak,
Awesome. Great. Very good. Chicken, steak, and fish. Awesome. How about 3 healthy fats? Anybody? Anybody else? Yeah.
egg.
Yeah, egg has a healthy fat in it. The yolk.
I don't know what it means.
Okay. So just take some guesses.
Milk.
Milk has a healthy fat in it. Yogurt. Yeah.
Avocado.
Excellent. And that's on the board this week, I think, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is. So you can, if anyone wants to know more about avocado, you can go read the board. Great job. Let's say a couple other healthy fats, since that one was kind of a tricky one. Nuts and seeds, and like peanut butter, cashew butter. If I ever write down in anything nut butter, it just means choose peanut butter, cashew, almond, because you can make any of those into nut butter. Another healthy fat would be coconut oil, olive oil, Olives. Olives are a really great healthy fat. Does anyone like olives? I find that you either love them or hate them. Where are the haters? Seems to go with the age, yeah. Okay, let's look back. So now we're on understanding energy and how we use it. So for you guys right now, what I want you to understand is that we have 3 energy systems in the body. And when you play volleyball, you're going to use actually all 3 of them at different times. So when you jump, do like a really hard burst of energy for jumping, you're going to use this first system called the phosphocreatine system. It means instant energy, so you need to be powerful in a fast, quick 10-second time period. The other ones get used interchangeably for more of the duration of sports. And if you're a long-distance runner, you're mostly using the aerobic system almost all the time. So these different systems dictate how our energy gets utilized. You guys don't have to memorize any of this. It's just if you want to read later, you can really get to understand some of the scientific stuff, okay? Okay, hydration. Have you guys ever heard, or do you guys talk about your water intake and stuff like that here? Okay, I figured so. Yeah, lots. Okay, so the interesting thing about, let's look at the first vocabulary, electrolyte. Who wants to read the definition for that one? Yeah.
Minerals in the blood that help regulate the amount of water in the body as well as nerve and muscle function. As we sweat, electrolytes need to be replaced. A light workout does not tax our electrolyte imbalance, but a whole day of playing will.
Yes. So if you don't sweat at all and you're just kind of stretching and warming up for something, you're not really upsetting your electrolyte imbalance. Now, if you're out there playing hard and really demanding things of your body, you have a hard workout, now you have to replenish. So that's what you got to think about, how you're going to replenish. And of course, Gatorade is the leader of this type of product. You can also, though, there's lots of ways to get electrolytes back into your system. Even one simple way is to squeeze orange and lemon into your water, because they have really naturally occurring electrolytes themselves within the actual whole fruit. So that's easy. And then you put a little pinch of sea salt. You can make your own Gatorade without all the sugar and the like yellow number 5s and purple 40s and all those things that they add in there. So that's an option. And then there's one of my favorites, it's called Ultima. It's not as well known, but I really like it because it's the simplest. I found it to be one of the simplest ones on the market, ingredient-wise. Then there's also things like watermelon, dates, bananas, and green leafy vegetables. I'm sure you love to eat spinach and kale pretty regularly. Oranges, potatoes, and tomatoes. Those things also have naturally occurring electrolytes. So you can get it from some of your food too. So just kind of, to keep a watch on what you're putting in your body. So then I included this chart below. It's called a urine hydration chart. So unless you're taking, how many of you take like a multivitamin that makes your pee like bright yellow? Have you ever taken one of those?
Yes.
Okay, so girls in the yellow shirts, okay, so there are some vitamins that can really make your pee like that color. So just, if you're taking some sort of supplement that makes your pee that color, this chart does not apply to you. However, most people aren't, and then you can look at this and you go, okay, so if my pee is kind of clear, then I'm probably pretty hydrated. This is a really important chart for you guys to start to get acquainted with. It's one of the best determiners of hydration is when you go to the bathroom. So it's just really important. So if you start to get in this zone, you better make sure you talk to Tanner or get some water in you going, okay? And I'm talking about, the danger zone here, very dehydrated, that type of stuff. It's very rare, but it's just something to understand. Okay, so let's turn it over and we're going to talk now about, does anyone have any questions at this point? Yeah.
So it says that potato chips for good hydration, or I don't know, like fish balls, or potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Potato chips count.
That's a really great question, and that is perfect for my article this month. So the question was, so it says potatoes are a great hydrator. What about rehydrator? What about potato chips? So if you guys look at my article this month, it talks about something called whole foods and eating your foods whole over versus processed. So a whole food is something in its most natural state, like a potato. A potato chip would be the processed version of the real thing. So when we process foods, they lose a lot of their nutrients. So what you want to focus on is getting foods in their most natural state. And you can get that article on the way out if you guys want, so you can really get to understand that. But that's a really great question. And also when we fry things, so a potato chip is fried, right? They put them down in that deep fryer. And those are going to, also the frying process, the heat and the oils, it really makes the potato not as lifelike, we'll call it, not as life-giving for your body. It doesn't give you all those nutrients that make you feel good and energized. But really great question. Oh, another thing on hydration before we move on, go to the hydration know-how real quick. If you're really thirsty, like your mouth feels dry and you're really thirsty, you're probably already starting to get dehydrated. So make sure you start to pay attention when you go to the bathroom, what it looks like, and then also how your mouth feels. Like if you're really starting, try and get yourself to not get that feel, get there. So you want to pre-hydrate, we call it, before you get hydrated. You don't want to think about your water after it's already, you're behind the 8 ball. Does that make sense? Okay. You guys can read all this stuff more as you get home and share it with your parents and see if they have any questions, and make sure you tell them that they can leave questions, comments, and concerns for me in the box out there also. I really would love to answer any questions that they might have as well. Okay. These are called anti-inflammatory foods. You guys maybe have heard of these types of foods. These are the ones with all the bright, vibrant colors that are found in nature somehow. So things like berries, cherries, green leafy vegetables. I wish we had a cooking, like a kitchen in here, because I think I could make kale for you guys where you guys would actually like it.
It's good.
You like it? You love it? No, your mom makes kale chips? Okay, great. That's awesome. You're like, I like spinach. Spinach? Okay, good. Maybe you don't like spinach? Okay. Was it a skip change with a lot of garlic on it? It always tastes good. Okay, who's getting hungry just talking about food?
I'm getting thirsty.
I'm thirsty, yeah. Me too, I think I'm hydrated already. Okay, listen up. So these are going to be really, these are more of your, like, what I call therapeutic foods. So these are the ones that when we talk about medicinal foods, these are going to be those. So the more of these you can add into your daily regimen, the better you're going to feel, and the more energy you'll have. Show that to your mom when you get home, or whoever cooks in your house, so that they can get acquainted with that stuff too. Yes, they'll feel better too. Okay, everybody stand up real quick and reach up high. Stand up and reach up high. Okay, lift up up. Okay, back down. Thank you. Okay, good job. Stick with me. We have 15 more minutes. You guys are doing great. You're doing awesome. Thanks for being so focused and with your wonderful questions. So I wanted to, with our very first installment of your nutrition guide, I wanted to be sure you guys got some tips. So this is what I call my general guidelines for mealtime success. So B is going to talk about always eating, we talked about it earlier, a breakfast. And balance all your meals with what I call the Power Plate formula, which I'm going to show you next time we get to talk. You're going to learn a perfect, a Power Plate meal formula for mealtime success. So I'll show you that next time. it really just is balancing everything on your plate. So get a lot of color on there. That's what your goal is going to be these first few weeks. T, timing. So let's just say, so I have football players that I've worked with in the NFL, and some of them need like 200 grams of protein in a day. Yeah, they're big guys. They're 320 pound guys. So they need a lot of protein and to build muscle mass and really pay attention to their body composition. But what happens is they'll say to me, they always ask me this question. So can I like start my day off with like 60 grams in a protein shake? And no, you cannot do that. Why? Because the body can only absorb so much protein at one time. It's the same with everything. We can only absorb so much at one time. So the key is to sprinkle your food throughout the day as best you can while you're in school. So that's going to require, we're going to get to some in a minute, some other things. So timing, you want to try not to let more than 4 hours go in between your meals. That keeps your energy up high. W, water, we talked about that and how important that is. And then the other W is whole foods, which is the article for the week. G, eat something green every day, preferably at every meal. Who wants to take on the challenge for this week? Yes? I love it. Okay, I challenge you and I want you to leave me a note at the end of the week, which, okay, today's Wednesday, but next Wednesday, leave me a note and tell me who followed through and what you experienced. So if you, the challenge is to eat something green every day. And I'm not talking about green Gatorade. Or Laffy Taffy. Or Frosty Dyed Green. I'm talking about, like, really, where's our little chart here, girls? Yeah, look, cabbage. What's all that green stuff? Broccoli, yes. Avocado. Peas will work. I'll give you the peas. Celery. Cucumber. Okay, good job. So see, guys, take on the challenge and let me know what happens for you, what you feel like. And try and go with the more leafier ones and try something new. Talk to your mom and dad about maybe something called bok choy. That is, you've probably had it, if you've been to P.F. Chang's or an Asian restaurant, you've probably had bok choy. It's really excellent for you. It's got great calcium and magnesium in it. Okay. So, show me again who's taking it on. I love it. Awesome. Okay, so then we have to look at, good, we're on good timing here. So let's look at a champion powered day with food. So this would be like best case scenario. Okay, who wants to read the morning breakfast?
Oatmeal with fruit and walnuts and 100% maple syrup, 1 teaspoon, with 10 to 15 grams of vanilla protein powder added.
Yeah, so this is something kind of simple you can do. And some people, and I have some protein powders down here. Just talk that over with your parents if you have any questions about anything like that. Some of you, what's the youngest age we have in here? 12? 11? Okay. So you don't want to, this is something that's just handy when you really need something quick. This is not something you rely on for your nutrition. Okay, the majority of your nutrition is going to come from this stuff. Any questions? Okay. Okay, the next one. Who knows how to pronounce that word there in the lunch? Yes. Quinoa. Quinoa. Yes. Who's had it before? It's like ball and rice. Yeah. Okay, good. You guys have had it. Okay, who's seen that commercial? The Quino. It's a Quino. Have you seen it? So I'm going to tell it to you real quick because it's really funny. So there's this guy, and he does like, you know how some people for football Sunday they have their ritual, and they think that if the team wins, they've got to repeat the ritual so that the team can win again the next week.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen a lot of commercials about that kind of stuff. Well, this guy has like a quinoa burger, and he's grilling it, and everyone at the grill, or at the...
I've seen that commercial, yeah.
So everyone
And he's
says...
screaming in the mirror.
Well, everyone's...
Screaming in the mirror?
Just tell us the story.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he's screaming in the mirror, but what happens is so everyone's like, what is that? He goes, I don't know, and you can hear him talking, like replaying his week, and he realized that the week before he ate it and his team won. And it hit him, and he was like, it's a quino. And he went, oh, because it was like the thing that made the team win. And he didn't even know how to say it, so that's what made the whole thing fun. So it's, they make all kinds of stuff out of quinoa now. They make burgers, but it is a really good side dish. It's a great starchy carbohydrate. And it's easy to cook. Yes.
So, like on here, I see a lot of like nut stuff. What about you're allergic to nuts? Like, what would you replace?
Great question. So, so there's a couple of things. So, if you're allergic to, do you have all nuts, honey?
Yes.
All nuts, okay. So, can you do seeds?
Yeah.
Okay, so like pumpkin seeds, that would be a good switch out. Or sunflower, yeah, things like that. And there's even sunflower seed butter nowadays too. Are you allergic to? Nope. Okay.
She said sunflower seed butter.
Yeah, that's great. And you can also leave me questions. If later you think about other stuff like that, you see it, feel free to leave me a question in the box. Okay, good. So you can go down the list. Chia seeds, those aren't nuts, so you can have something like that. Chia seeds. Who's ever had a chia seed? Yeah? So it's called chia, and it's this little seed, and it's really funny. When you put it in like your yogurt, it kind of blows up and gets this funky, gelatinous membrane on the outside of it.
Sounds great.
I'll try and bring some next time to show you guys. They do. They have drinks with chia seeds, and now that's all the rage. So there's going to be all kinds of all the rage right now. Okay, real quick before I leave time for questions. Nutrient timing. This is super important. This is something that's going to serve you all very well as you get older. You guys are, what you're learning right now, what your club is providing you is a gift. Getting this knowledge at your age is a real gift because you will go off to college knowing this stuff, and there'll be girls that are really struggling to understand this stuff. So your club is giving you the gift of knowledge in this area, and it can really, really enhance your performance. So nutrient timing, okay? What this means is that you have literally a window after a hard workout. You have a 30 to 45 minute at the most window to refuel your body from all of your exercise. And if you don't eat within that time period, you know what happens? Does anyone know what happens if you don't get refueled during that time period? Yeah.
Your muscle starts getting deteriorated.
That's right. That's right. And your body will actually start to use your muscle for the fuel it needs instead of food. So you don't ever want to lose muscle, right? The whole idea is food is power. We want to be more powerful, not eating our muscles. So we want to make sure that you get in that 30 to 45 minute time window. Any questions on that? And it can literally just be a meal. So maybe you could, do you like underway? Yeah. Okay. So it could literally be that maybe you get something in the car. Okay, maybe you have something ready for you in the car or in your bag for after practice. Like for example, on the next page, I have a couple of bars. There's two of my favorite. These are two of my favorite bars. Zing and RX. They're both really, really high quality bars. You don't want to rely on bars and shakes, ever. But these are things that can help when you're in a pinch and you need something quick. Here's this also pre-practice suggestions. You can look over these, and those are a couple things that can hold you over after a workout too, till you get home, and then you have a little time, and then you eat your dinner. Because you guys always finish about this time? Yeah. Okay, so do most of you go home and eat dinner? Yeah. Okay, so you might want to consider just having a little something in your bag. Tell me, someone raise your hand and tell me what you do. What does your evening look like?
Well, I go to practice and then I go get hair.
Okay. We love hamburgers. Okay. Anybody else? Tell me what you do.
I eat before I come to practice.
You eat before you come in. So after, what do you do?
I don't eat it.
You don't eat anything. Okay, so this is perfect. Thank you for telling us, because this is a great, you're great for the nutrient timing. So I want you to really read up on that and let me know if you have any questions, because so right now what's happening is great that you're eating before, so you're fueling up, but now you've got to replenish. So we have a fueling up phase before exercise, and then there's a replenishing phase. So don't miss that. That's a key. That's really, really key. It's optimal to your success. Okay? Great. Okay, last page. Do you have this one? Flip it. Oh, okay. Flip it over. I know we kind of went over this a little. I want to go over some of the top stuff. So ladies, food takes, when you are looking at using food as fuel, you've got to think ahead about it. So in other words, when you're done with your practice, it's like kind of, if you think of ahead of time and you have something ready for that timing thing, then you're thinking ahead and planning ahead, and you're going to be more successful with your food program. If you leave practice, you're starving, an hour goes by, then you're like, oh, now I have to eat and I'm starving. Then you might, and like maybe you don't have some food at home, maybe you and mom go to the grocery store, and then what do? What happens? You probably want some cookies and all that stuff because you're starving. So by the time you get starting, it's like with being thirsty. By the time you get thirsty, it's kind of, you're behind the 8 ball. By the time you get starving, you're probably behind it also for replenishing your body. So don't forget, you have to fuel your body and you also have to refuel it. Got it? Okay, who's taking the challenge again? Tell me. Okay, one green, preferably green leafy thing per day for the next week, and leave me notes and tell me what you experienced. Are there any questions before we break? Sure. Get the real dark lettuce. You already do that. Well, tell me more about it then. When you leave me that, maybe you could try every meal something green. Ooh, that would be really, that's really something. You know when you get it in for your breakfast, and you're really like, oh, you know what you can do? You get some of that green powder and put it in a smoothie for breakfast or something.
Oh, I do that.
You teach us? Yeah, I know. Yes. Okay.
Is pepperoni like a good protein snack?
So pepperoni is, it would be considered like a lunch meat. So it's got protein and it's going to have some fat in it, because just what pepperoni is composed of. Composed? I sometimes get confused with my words. So it would be a protein and a fat.
Are pickles healthy?
Well, that's a good question, because there's all kinds of pickles. There's pickles that are loaded with sugar. You know those real sweet ones? Those are loaded with like high fructose corn syrup and sugar. Those might not be the healthiest pickles. But the dill ones don't have all that sugar, so maybe that would be a better choice. Yeah, there'll be all different kinds. Try and pick the ones Try something leafy, okay? I know you didn't do it. Okay, shh. Okay, shh. Everybody listen up. We just have a couple more questions, and I want everyone to be able to hear.
How much of the greens do you have to eat?
So let's say 1 serving. So 1 serving will be like a cup. Now remember, spinach, a cup of spinach cooks down into like this much. So you know, a cup of broccoli. Broccoli's fluffy and it's not that much. So let's strive for 1 serving.
Can you eat seaweed?
Sure, that's great. Yeah. You can get that at Costco, the packets. My kids love those. It's fishy for me too. It's not my favorite. Okay, girls, listen up. Let's break. Let's finish up. I just want to finish up with a reminder to leave me comments, questions, and concerns of anything you have. I want to be your resource. Use me. Your club has me here so that you guys can utilize me. So do it. Okay? Great. Yes. One last question.
Are we gonna take these home?
Well, you're going to get them back. So if you guys could get them back in in an order that's workable. Now you're in order. Okay. Here, let's just. Listen up. As you leave, let's just put them on a pile. Oh yes.
If they leave you a question or a comment,
Yes.
what information do you want them to know?
Email would be great. Yeah.
Hey, you guys all hear that? So if you leave Anita a question or a comment, you need to leave your name, your team, so 12-1, 13-1, 14-1, and an email address so she's able to contact you. If you leave a question or comment with no information, she doesn't know how to get back in touch with you.
Great, really great question. Yes, and tell your parents too to start looking at the board and leaving me questions also if they have any. Okay, ladies, thank you for your attention tonight. I appreciate it and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bring me some good questions next time, okay?